The Assembly is now in session. Assemblymember Brown notices the absence of a quorum. The Sergeant-at-Arms will prepare the chamber and bring in the absent members. The clerk will call the roll.
Ashajian, Alejo, Allen, Baker, Bigelow, Bloom, Bonilla, Bonta, Bro, Brown, Burke, Calderon, Campos, Chang, Chow, Chavez, David Chu, Canton Chu, Cooley, Cooper, Dababne, Daly, Daly, Dodd, Eggman, Frazier, Gaines, Gallagher, Cristina Garcia, Eduardo Garcia, Gatto, Gibson, Gomez, Gonzalez, Gordon, Gray, Grove, Hadley, Harper, Hernandez, Holden, Irwin, Jones, Jones Sawyer, Kim, Lackey, Levine, Linder, Lopez, Lowe, Mainshine, Mathis, Mays, McCarty, Medina, Melendez, Mullen, Nazarian, Obernolte, O'Donnell, Olson, Patterson, Perea, Quirk, Rendon, Ridley Thomas, Rodriguez, Salas, Santiago, Steinorth, Stone, Thurman, Ting, Wagner, Waldron, Weber, Wilk, Williams, Wood. Madam Speaker.
Members, a quorum is present. If you can take your seats, we will begin. Thank you. We will defer the prayer and the pledge until later in the session. Reading of the previous day's journal.
Assembly Chamber, Sacramento, Wednesday, April 29th, 2015. The Assembly met at 7 a.m. Honorable Ed Chow, Assembly Member.
Ms. Garcia moves. Ms. Waldron seconds that the reading of the previous day's journal be dispensed with. Presentations of petitions, there are none. Introduction and reference of bills will be deferred. Reports of committees will be deemed read and amendments deemed adopted. Messages from the governor, there are none. Messages from the Senate, there are none. Under motions and resolutions, absences for the day, Ms. Campos. Ms. Garcia, you're recognized for your motions.
Madam Speaker, I request unanimous consent to suspend Assembly Rule 118 and allow Assemblymember Alejo and Hernandez to have guests and photographers on the floor today. Mr. Hernandez's guest will be at his desk during the beginning of session. Mr. Alejo's guest will be in the area of the member's desk in the rostrum for the Latino Spirit ceremony.
Without objection, the request is granted.
Pursuant to Assembly Rule 96, I request unanimous consent to re-refer the following bills to committee. AB 684, Bonilla, from the Appropriations Committee to the Rules Committee. AB 237, Daly, from the Education Committee to the Appropriations Committee.
Without objection, the request is granted.
I request unanimous consent to correct the April 29, 2015 report by the Housing and Community Development Committee and order file item 95, AB 1516, from the third reading file to the first legislative day consent calendar for Tuesday, May 5th, 2015.
Without objection, the request is granted, and the clerk will note. Members and guests, we have some special guests with us today. Mr. Salas, are you prepared to recognize your guest at your desk?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. If I can have my guests in the gallery, please, members, help me welcome the Thomas Jefferson Middle School, who are visiting me from Wasco, California this morning. You guys can please stand.
Mr. Ting, would you like to acknowledge your guest?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just want to acknowledge the guest from the Starr King Elementary School, which is also my daughter's elementary school in San Francisco. And they'll also be visiting the statue of Thomas Starr King out in the park. So just welcome Starr King Elementary.
Mr. Hernandez, would you like to introduce your guest? Is he? Okay. How about Mr. Rodriguez? Would you like to introduce your guest? No? Okay, we will introduce a few folks later. We will now move to the special ceremony in honor of Cinco de Mayo and the Latino Spirit Awards. If I could ask everybody to take their seats, please. Okay, I'd ask our guests and visitors in the rear of chamber and in the gallery to please stand for the prayer. Our prayer will be offered by our Assembly Chaplain, Father Constantine Papadimos. Father.
Good afternoon. Let us pray. Lord, we pause today to honor the Latino Spirit Award recipients, and we pray that you bless their service to others. Some people go through life superficially, but for those who examine life on a deeper level, life has greater meaning. Happiness in life does not come from an eat, drink, and be merry mentality. Instead, happiness is to be found in serving others, doing for others, and staying close to you, Lord. Bless the Latino Spirit Award recipients today and all of us forever. Amen.
Members, please remain standing and join Assemblymember Ian Calderon as he leads us in the pledge.
Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Without objection, we will move to file item 98, H.R. 16, Santiago, for the purpose of third reading. Mr. Santiago, are you ready to proceed on this item?
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker.
The clerk will read H.R. 16.
House Resolution 16 by Assemblymember Santiago relative to Cinco de Mayo week.
Mr. Santiago.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's with great pride today that I rise in honor of Cinco de Mayo week to present H.R. 16. Cinco de Mayo is a significant day in the history of California and Mexico because it commemorates the victory of the Mexican-American Army over the French forces and the Battle of Puebla in 1862. But Cinco de Mayo has become just much more than a celebration for us. Cinco de Mayo also offers the opportunity to reflect on the courage and the achievements of not only the Mexican forces of Puebla, but also the achievements of all those who are Latino here in the United States, and particularly California. It has also become a day where we celebrate the contributions of Latinos throughout every single facet of our community. The men and women we honor today with the Latino Spirit Award demonstrates the strength and determination of the Latino community here in California. Each represents a community and has done good deeds not only for their own communities but for all Californians. And they are an inspiration to all of us. H.R. 16 and Latino Spirit Awards remind us of the foundation of any nation and our state and its people and the contributions that we bring to this state. Members, I respectfully ask for your aye vote and request the first roll call be open for co-authors.
Thank you. Mr. Chow, you're recognized.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker and members. On behalf of the Asian Pacific Islander Legislative Caucus, I stand in support of H.R. 16 and celebration of the culture and experiences of the Latino community here in California. The Asian and Pacific Islander American community has a long history of community and coalition building with the Latino community. In the early 1900s, immigration restrictions and xenophobic land ownership laws brought Punjabi and Mexican-American community members together to form interracial families and farming communities in the Central and Imperial Valleys. During the 5-year Delano grape strike in the 1960s, Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta worked together with the Filipino leaders like Philip Vera Cruz and also Larry Italong to fight for social justice and workers' rights under one of history's strongest multi-ethnic coalition, which is the United Farm Workers. Latino, Black, and Asian American youth came together during the 1960s and 70s to fight for a relevant education, which led to the establishment of ethnic studies in our universities. Today, Latino leaders continue to build off of a strong history of social justice to make our state and nation stronger. Cinco de Mayo week is a time for us to reflect on the significant contributions of the Latino community to our culture and history. I ask for your aye vote on H.R. 16 to recognize Cinco de Mayo week to honor the culture and history of the Latino community. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jones-Sawyer, you are recognized.
Members, I rise today in strong support of H.R. 16, which recognizes May 5th as Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo presents us with the occasion to recognize the culture and courage of the Latino people who have fought to be on the side of history, beginning with Mexico's victory of independence 151 years ago on May 5th, 1862, at the Battle of Puebla. Throughout American history, from the American Civil War, both world wars, the Civil Rights Movement, and the migrant workers' labor movement, California Latinos have fearlessly contributed to the idea of democracy and freedom. That heritage is proudly present once again, especially in your Spirit Award honorees. As those in the Latino community continue to rise up to address the challenges of today by fighting for comprehensive and common sense immigration reform, fighting for the dreamers, and continuing to fight for equity and fairness in the labor movement of today. As members of the Legislative Black Caucus, we celebrate how far people of color, all colors, have come and the progress we have made. Also, as African Americans, we too share a common bond. In Juneteenth, in 1865, 3 years after that, in Galveston, Texas, we jubilantly celebrated the Emancipation Proclamation. We, like those young 14 and 15-year-old young people who fought against the French in the Puebla to win their freedom and push the French out, and how much they celebrated after that, we too have that same feeling of pride, of courage, and honor that we were able to self-govern ourselves against oppression. Cinco de Mayo presents all of us with this opportunity to reflect on the heroism of those Latino champions of yesterday and honor the Latino champions of today who were recognized as the 2015 Spirit Award recipient. Let us celebrate in these stories and honor their commitment to preserving the spirit and hope of what Cinco de Mayo means. Let us be mindful that regardless of your ethnic background, we are truly a nation of immigrants and of all cultures that embrace freedom, liberty, and democracy are worthy of respect. As chair of the California Legislative Black Caucus, I am proud to join you in celebration of Cinco de Mayo, and I urge your aye vote.
Thank you. Ms. Eggman, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, today I rise as the chair of the LGBT Caucus to urge strong support for H.R. 16. For many of us, we have this intersectionality of the caucuses that we belong to, and I'm a proud member of both the Latino Caucus as well as the LGBT Caucus. And I think in all our communities this week, we saw beautiful displays of the Latino community coming out to celebrate as community leaders with lowrider car clubs, with barbecues, with parties, with the celebration of family. I had the occasion a couple weeks ago to perform a marriage ceremony between two young Latino men with their parents standing by, neither one of them who spoke English, but cried tears of joy that the people that they loved could be married in this country. And I think that's one of the key messages for everybody when we think about these Latino Spirit Awards, that Latinos symbolize family, faith, hard work, and the embrace and diversity of all. So it is with that that I ask for your strong support for H.R. 16 for the Latino Spirit Award Day. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Garcia, you're recognized.
Madam Speaker, members, I rise today as the Vice Chair of the Legislative Women's Caucus to support H.R. 16. I rise to honor the work of the Latinos in the state of California, and particularly the Latina women. In most of our homes, our roles begin and continue with the undying support and dedication of our mothers. Our homes revolve around our moms, our mamás, or like I like to say, mi mamá, for our early education, love of food, and culture. So as we recognize all things today and the coming holiday on Sunday, let us stop and wish a happy Mother's Day to all our mothers. Today before you sit only 5 Latina legislators. We all sit proudly in the assembly, but across the hall, there is no chair for us. Latinas make up 18% of the population in this great state, but Latinas hold only 4% of the seats in the legislature. The Latino Caucus, together with our enlightened brothers, have made this a priority that we work to elect more powerful Latinas to elected office. Gender is important. Our collective culture is important. We use a different lens in our policy work, and I hope in the future years to have more Latinas rising to honor your work. As we rise today to recognize the accomplishments of some amazing people, I am particularly drawn to the work of the women honored in law and labor. As we work, whether in the fields or on boardrooms, it is the work of the past honorees, like Dolores Huerta, that helps equality for all. Today, as we celebrate Maria Elena Durazo, remember the path was cut by strong women before you. And remember, there is more work to be done. California hosts the largest wage gap for Latinas in the nation. Here, Latinas make 44 cents to every white man dollars for similar work. As we have recognized and today recognize the life and work of Judges Francis Munoz and Irma Elsa Gonzalez, I am drawn to a quote by Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor. She has said, "It is important for all of us to appreciate where we come from and how that history has really shaped us in ways that we might not understand." Sotomayor has also said, to my 5 Latina colleagues, I think that we can agree, the Latina in me is an ember that blazes forever. I encourage all of you to vote aye on H.R. 16.
Thank you. Mr. Alejo.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker and members. On behalf of our 17 Assembly members and our 5 state senators that comprise the California Latino Legislative Caucus, I rise as chairman in support of this resolution commemorating the Cinco de Mayo week, as there's many days of celebration that began last weekend. This resolution acknowledges the historical and ongoing contributions Latinos have made to California and the history of Mexico. But during California's formative years, Latinos have helped shape our state's culture, establish and retain our democracy, and build an economic foundation. But Cinco de Mayo is truly a story of the underdog, los de abajo, people who overcame all odds. This group of mostly indigenous campesinos who defeated the most powerful army at that time, the French, in this battle known as La Batalla de Puebla. They were out-armed, outnumbered, but they were not outmatched. So today, Cinco de Mayo serves as a reminder of all positive attributes our Latinos have made here in California and throughout the country. It's about self-determination, about empowerment, about cultural pride. And Latinos have led efforts in civil rights, in fair labor laws, and political representation for the underrepresented, los de abajo. But in modern decades, Latinos have risen to also become leading figures in public service, law, sports, politics, and business. And Latinos have made strides towards developing the next generation of young leaders that will build upon these previous accomplishments. H.R. 16 further serves to recognize and honor distinguished Latinos from our community each year through the Latino Spirit Awards. And over the last decade, the Latino Spirit Awards have been handed out to various men and women with different backgrounds, including an Army General, an Associate Justice of the California Supreme Court, a world-renowned civil rights activist, a Kennedy Award-winning guitarist, and several famous actors and sports stars. This year's representatives are equally diverse, equally accomplished, and it is an honor to recognize such a talented group of individuals in accordance with H.R. 16. I did also just want to announce that today we also have a mariachi, Viva Tecalitlan, who came to visit us, who drove all the way from Jalisco, Mexico, to join us at the Capitol, and they'll be playing at events later today. And also a group of artisans who came from Tonalá, Jalisco, to also share their craftsmen, and they're out on K Street. I respectfully ask for an aye vote on this important measure, y un feliz 5 de Mayo a todos.
Thank you. Seeing no further discussion, Mr. Santiago, would you like to close?
Yes, thank you. Members, I respectfully ask for an aye vote and request that the first roll call be open for co-authors.
Thank you. So we will open the roll. The first roll call will be for co-authors on H.R. 16. Okay. Members, 72 co-authors are added. Mr. Santiago, we can take a voice vote on this item. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Members, 14 years ago, the Latino Caucus created the Latino Spirit Awards to recognize individuals who exemplify the true spirit, the Latino culture, and heritage. Today, we honor 7 individuals who represent a wide range of talents found in our state. I am appointing an escort committee to bring our special guest onto the floor for a special presentation. Members, please retire to the rear of the chamber as I call your name. Assembly members Eggman, Assemblymember Cristina Garcia, Assemblymember Eduardo Garcia, Assembly members Gomez, Gonzalez, Assemblymember Roger Hernandez, Assembly members Lopez, Perea, Rendon, Rodriguez, Salas, Santiago, and Thurman. Our special guest senators: Senator Ed Hernandez, Senator Ben Hueso, Senator Ricardo Lara, Senator Tony Mendoza, and our President Pro Tem of the Senate, Mr. Kevin De Leon. At this time, I will ask Assemblymember Alejo, the chair of the Latino Caucus, to join me along with our Republican leader, Ms. Olson, at the center, and joining us a little as they present honorees will also be the vice chair, Senator Ben Hueso, and our pro tem, Mr. De Leon. So join me, please, in the center.
The honoree for achievement in law and public service is Judge Frances Munoz. She's escorted by Assembly members Gonzalez and Senate President Pro Tem De Leon and Senator Mendoza. The Honorable Frances Munoz was appointed in 1978 by Governor Jerry Brown to the Orange County Harbor Judicial District as the first Mexican female judge in California. The fifth of 11 children, Judge Munoz was the first to graduate from high school, but without the necessary financial resources to attend college, she went to work in business. In 1972, after 10 years of night school and at the age of 41, Judge Munoz received a Juris Doctorate from Southwestern University School of Law. Judge Munoz has focused on the issues she is passionate about, including immigration, education, diversity in the legal system, and family. She has founded the Hispanic Education Endowment, the Ralph Buvano Scholarship Fund, and the Hispanic Orange County Bar Association. After 28 years on the bench, Judge Munoz retired, but continued her public service on the bench as an assigned judge. Her presence on the bench is of particular importance to her, since few Latinas in Orange County have been appointed to the court during her career. Welcome, Judge Munoz. Our honoree for achievement in business and philanthropy is the late Mr. Miguel Gonzalez, the founder of the Northgate Gonzalez Market. He is represented by his son, Mr. Gonzalez, his daughters, Miss Ortiz, Miss Bolanos, and Miss Gonzalez. They are escorted by Assemblymember Rendon and Senator Hueso. The Northgate Gonzalez Market is a family-owned and operated business that spans 3 generations and prides itself on an unparalleled commitment to their community. Over 40 years ago, Miguel Gonzalez left his small town in Mexico to make a living in the United States. In 1980, with the help of his wife, sons, and daughters, Don Miguel opened a 3,000-square-foot grocery store in Anaheim. Northgate Gonzalez Market now operates 38 supermarkets across Southern California, employs over 5,000 people, and actively invests in developing future generations of managers and leaders. Northgate is also involved in the Gonzalez Reynoso Family Foundation and a wide variety of community-based organizations and charitable programs. The honoree for achievement in law and public service is Jose R. Padilla. He's escorted by Assembly members Cristina Garcia and Salas. Mr. Padilla has dedicated his 37-year legal career to advocating for the rights of California's farm workers and rural poverty communities through California Rural Legal Assistance, also known as CRLA. Raised in the Imperial Valley to parents who are farm workers, he holds degrees from Stanford University and UC Berkeley's Bolt Hall School of Law. He joined CRLA as a staff attorney, worked as the directing attorney of CRLA's Imperial Valley El Centro office, and was selected to serve as the executive director of CRLA in 1984, a position he has held for 31 years. Mr. Padilla oversees the administration of CRLA's 22 offices in 24 California counties. CRLA is considered one of the most premier and most respected legal services programs in the country. Via its migrant unit, CRLA addresses the needs of farm workers with cases focusing on pesticide exposure, housing, labor, education, civil rights, and environmental justice. It helps more than 40,000 of the rural poor with legal services each year. Welcome, Mr. Jose Padilla. The honoree for achievement in business is Rolando Herrera. He's escorted by Assembly members Rodriguez and Lopez. Mr. Herrera is a proprietor and winemaker at Mi Sueño Winery, meaning my dream. His early jobs as a dishwasher and line cook enhanced his appreciation of the pairing of beautiful food and exceptional wine. For 20 years, he worked at Stag's Leap Wine Cellars and was director of winemaking for Paul Hubbs Consulting, but he continued to work on his own vintages. Business took off in 1997 with the release of his Los Caneros Chardonnay. Later, his wine was featured at a White House dinner for President Vicente Fox. In 2010, Mr. Herrera and 10 other Napa Sonoma Valley Mexican-American vintners shared their wines at Michoacan State Fair at the invitation of the state's governor. After a successful trip, Mr. Herrera and the group founded the Mexican-American Vintners Association. Welcome, Mr. Rolando Herrera. The honoree for achievement in public service is Maria Elena Durazo. She is escorted by Assembly members Santiago and Gomez. Ms. Durazo is a respected labor leader and a fierce advocate for the rights of the working class and immigrants. As a child, she traveled from Oregon to California with her parents and 9 siblings to work in the fields and learned the importance of hard work and determination. In 1983, she started working at the Hotel Employees and Restaurant Employees Union Local 11 as an organizer, and by 1996, she was the first Latina elected to the executive board of the union. During her career with Union, she was the national director of the Immigrant Workers Freedom Ride, a national campaign to improve the nation's immigration laws. She was the first woman elected secretary-treasurer of the Los Angeles County Federation of Labor, AFL-CIO, a position she would hold for 9 years. Before her departure, she was the VP of the National AFL-CIO Executive Council and the chair of its Immigration Committee. This January, Ms. Durazo began her next chapter in life as an International Union Vice President for Civil Rights, Diversity, and Immigration with Unite Here. Welcome, Maria Elena Durazo. The honoree for Dynamic Youth is Blanca Ramirez. She is escorted by Assembly members Roger Hernandez and Thurmond. Ms. Blanca Ramirez is a 12-year-old marathon runner who recently earned a world record for the youngest girl to complete a marathon on each of the world's 7 continents. A third-generation Mexican-American, Blanca has lived in La Puente since the age of 4. One day, while researching world records, Blanca discovered the title for the youngest girl to complete a marathon on each of the 7 continents was held by a 14-year-old girl. That's when Blanca's journey to break the record began. She completed her feat in Antarctica on February 19, 2015, after having run marathons in the United States, Rwanda, New Zealand, Paraguay, China, and France. Through her running, she hopes to bring awareness to Operation Smile, a nonprofit that provides free surgeries to repair cleft palate and other facial deformities for children around the globe, because she feels every kid should smile. Like most teenage girls, Blanca spends most of her free time with her family and friends. Welcome, Ms. Blanca Ramirez. The honoree for achievement in athletics is Sergio Romo. He's escorted by Assembly members Eggman, Eduardo Garcia, and Perea. Mr. Sergio Romo is a 3-time World Series champion as a relief pitcher for the San Francisco Giants. Originally from Brawley, California, Romo's love of baseball began at an early age. Sergio's father, Frank, who played semi-pro baseball in Mexicali, bought Sergio his first glove when he was 2 years old. Sergio went on to attend several colleges before completing his collegiate career at Mesa State College in Grand Junction, Colorado, where he went 14-1, broke 6 school records, and was named Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference Pitcher of the Year. In 2005, he was drafted by the San Francisco Giants and made his MLB debut in June 2008. He has achieved many great feats with the Giants, including receiving the Baseball Setup Man of the Year award,